And I'm Steven.
And
And,
I'm Chandra.
and we are kicking it with Steve and Stacy with our special guest, Miss Chandra Faye Dunn, my comrade, my girlfriend, my sister, a very, very special lady to me and a lot of people. And she brings the fire. So, we are going to have an interesting show today. We have a special guest. I was in my feelings earlier because the cover of my book was sent to me.
And it was not well done.
Well, the first one, well, the first two weren't well done. But I called my amazing friend, the graphic artist to the stars, Melvin. When I tell you he got it together, Measy, Eli printing, photography, videography. I've been working with this young man for like 2 years.
Okay.
And when I tell you he is amazing, he is amazing. But he did such an awesome job on the book cover.
Okay. Now, what was wrong with it specifically in the beginning, the first two
It
times?
was garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was garbage.
Names misspelled. Or,
Yeah, names misspelled. It wasn't lined up. It was the very first one. The name was over my face. You know, we couldn't have that.
right.
So,
So the unprofessionalism
oh
was
my
that for
goodness. So yeah, yeah, I just I like to keep it professional. You know, if we're doing business, I expect the business to be done business like.
Absolutely.
But when I tell you Melvin got it together, and I feel like I'm getting emotional now. I just feel like this is going to be the perfect tribute to my sister. And I feel like so many times in my sister's life, she wasn't respected. You know, she was in and out of substance abuse places, rehabs, three-quarter houses, clean living houses, hospitals. She was just caught up in a struggle. And this went on for like 30 or 35 years. And it's my way to give her the respect that she should have gotten her whole life. And, you know, she wasn't able to create a legacy. So I feel like I'm doing it for her since she couldn't do it for herself. So it just is really, really, um, it's just really, really special for me. And, you know, I just keep her name alive. Like when I bought my first boat, I named my boat after her.
you. Right. But
And
hold up, let's bring it back. Let me bring it back because the last time, so Stacy is a really good friend of mine. Really good friend of mine. And the last time we talked, you were thinking about this wasn't even 2 months ago. So it went from thinking about to the cover of the book.
and
It
it's
don't
a
seem like I'm a good friend.
stop it. That is with the and the publisher actually has it.
Okay.
So, Dr. Sabrina Jackson. Do you know Dr. Sabrina Jackson?
Not personally, but I've heard of
Do
her.
you watch her on Channel Two on
No, I don't watch
Mondays?
TV.
Okay,
You know
that's
I
right.
don't watch TV.
Well, Dr. Sabrina Jackson has become a really good friend, and Dr. Sabrina Jackson is who I actually sold Kelly to. So now she's gonna be a new boater,
Okay. Oh, okay.
and
Okay. So I didn't know you still had Kelly.
yeah. Well, you know I had to sell her because we can't have two boats, so we have a new boat.
Right. Wow. It's a lot going on here.
Right, and the
That,
new
that's getting sprung on me though. Like, Stacy.
okay, the new boat is called the Promise, and I sold Kelly to Dr. Sabrina Jackson, who also does so much. So she's on Channel Two.
I heard about her.
Yeah,
She comes on Tuesdays or something, right? And just get like a she sits and answers a question or
no,
like
she's on Channel Two on Mondays for motivational Mondays, mental health Mondays.
get mental health Mondays.
Yeah.
I've heard
Oh
about
my
her.
God.
I've heard about
When I
her.
tell you she is just amazing. So she does so much, but she has a publishing company, and she's actually doing my book. So for the past 5 years, every October for the whole 31 days, I do like motivational quotes for substance abuse and addiction and recovery in honor of my sister.
Right.
So I get up every morning and I post on Facebook the quote for the day, and then I write something, and I feel like it's really helped me with my grieving process, because I get to, I know that she will love this. She right now she is just like in her glory because she loved to be the center of attention. So I did that, but every year I would always say, I'm going to turn this into a book. I'm going to turn this into a book. And every year I never do it. So this year I was like, you know what, Stacy? My grandma used to always say either shit or get off the pot.
That's right.
So this year I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I sent all of the content to Dr. Jackson, and she's getting it all together. Now the book cover is done, and yeah.
So you just chug 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 and right along.
Pardon?
You just chug and right along, huh?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel though? How does it make you feel
It really.
that is actually off the ground in somebody else's hands, out of your hands?
It really makes me feel good because sometimes I can be a bit of a procrastinator. So with me, just stepping out on faith, and just doing it because I really wanted to do this for my sister. And then I'm going to dedicate it to my sister's kids,
Okay.
because for one reason or another, she didn't raise any of her kids. And she had 4 kids.
Right.
And she also has 2 grandchildren. So I'm going to dedicate the book to her children and her grandchildren.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah. So,
So, but you said before she didn't leave a legacy. They are her legacy.
yeah, there.
They
Oh.
are. She left a legacy. And you are her legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a sweet auntie.
So, speaking of auntie, my nephew Marcel, her first son, he had a bad heart. And he was hospitalized for 110 days at the University of Michigan. And he was on the transplant list, and yeah, they ended up giving him an artificial heart. So he had to wear batteries around. He was just devastated. But I just told him, Marcel, this is what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna take care of you. And I went and got 25 hours of training at the University of Michigan, and I used to go up there like 3 times a week, and I was just so exhausted. So I started going to the train station and taking the train up to Ann Arbor, and it would just give me a chance to just clear my head. And I had to be so strong for him. And he died on August 1st, 2016.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and I just don't think, I don't think Kelly ever got over it. So, but now, they're up there together with our mother and our father and our grandparents, and they're looking down on me, and
Smiling broadly.
and it's like I know she would be really, really proud of this. So it's like a labor of love, and I'm gonna target the all the rehabs that I took her to, and I went to visit her. I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna go to the different 3-quarter houses, but yeah, and it's gonna be like a workbook,
Okay.
so have like the inspirational quote and then what I say, and then I'm gonna have like maybe a blank page, so a person can write their feelings down because journaling helped me a lot.
Okay.
So, but enough about me, because
But I knew that wasn't it. Just the book. I was just waiting on the other shoe to drop.
what?
Yeah, that. I'm gonna target the shelter she went to. I knew that was coming because that doesn't stop with the book.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. And I know that. I know you better than that.
Yeah. I just feel like, so many people are caught up, and with substance abuse issues. And I feel like if they just had a little bit more support, I just feel like, that might encourage them, to want to do what they need to do for themselves. But it just bothers me, if a person's on drugs, everybody shuns them, they don't want to invite them, for family, and sometimes they have, a good reason not to,
Yeah.
because, when you're dealing with a person with substance abuse issues, you deal with a lot. I remember one time when I was away, my my father, Kelly, went to a family dinner. So it was at my uncle's house, and my uncle was the Anyways, they had a family dinner with my uncle's house, and my sister stole my father's car. I was like,
Whoa.
oh my God. See, when I tell you she would get you, and it's stuff like that, that just makes you want to shy away. But I never shied away. I was always there for my sister, and, I was unapologetic about it.
That's
And I
right.
would even get mad at some of my family members because I just feel like, I was gone for 22 years, 3 months, and 18 days, and nobody tried to help her,
Now, I've got an idea. Don't know if you thought about it or not, but what about getting a sponsor to donate your books to shelters all over the country so that everyone in need has a copy?
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would
You
be
know what I
awesome.
mean?
Yeah, that
And
would be
so
amazing.
her legacy and everything else is taken care of. She went out with a bang, and she helped a whole lot of folks through her sister Stacy. So that's how I would approach it.
That's a really good
You know.
idea. She was clean for 8 months before she died.
Yeah, and because everyone knows someone with substance abuse
Everybody.
problems.
Yeah,
I mean, you've
everybody.
got these entertainers, you've got these
Period.
athletes, his sister, his mom, etc. And I
And then,
think a lot of them would be more than happy to help sponsor the book if it's used in that way.
right.
Yeah.
Just to start the conversation, that's a good segue. Because actually, what I am, I'm a registered community health worker, I'm a mental health first aid worker. And so I am the person that your sister needed when everybody kicked her away.
Yeah,
Right.
We need to have that discussion, and that book, just getting it in the hands of lay people. You wanted to
definitely.
be able to measure how many conversations it could start or
Definitely.
how much change it'll make. So that's awesome. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Because the mental health, it's my belief. My belief, mental health is the root cause of drug addiction, violence. I'm just not one to believe hurt people.
And that's the
I'm-
bottom line.
I'm just not one to believe that because I know personally of a situation of how can you leave your child? You must be mental. It's something mental.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
not to be a drug addict, just say, well, I don't want to be a mom anymore. That's mental. And then I know personally the children that she left. So the mental just don't stop with her. It starts with her, but it trickles down.
Absolutely.
And then mental illness comes out in many different forms that we don't like to talk about. We need to start having a conversation about mental health. We need to start. We say it all on TV, but we in small radio stations need to start addressing the issue of mental health.
Speaking of mental health, so this is our guest, and I would like
Thank you.
for you to tell everyone who you are, what you do, and I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
I can't say it enough. If I had 1,000 tongues, I couldn't tell you enough.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I have a friend who always tell me don't downplay what I've done. So,
Exactly.
I am Chandra Dunn, an award-winning, history-making, village bridging journeywoman. I've won Massey Apprenticeship of the Year. That's the most prestigious award you can win in construction. I won AGC, but you know, if you win Massey, it's no compete. I automatically won AGC.
Okay.
Not to brag,
Period.
but not to brag.
Brag,
but
baby, brag, baby, brag.
That's who I am. However, I was in a really bad car accident, and the pandemic happened, and now I'm into mental health. To be honest, I never wanted to build bridges and roads. That was forced on me.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, but the situation, which we'll probably come talk about another time, it had to occur so that I could be here. I did what I had to do to be able to do what I want to do now.
Period.
Like I said, I'm a community health worker, registered with the state,
Yeah.
and I just know from personal, up close and personal experience how mental health. It's mental health. Even with myself, I start with myself. We don't know what a person going through or what they've been through. And then this was really, it was like an aha moment to me. I was in ACEs. You know what ACEs is? Adverse childhood experiences. How that really, it like unlocks something that really shapes
Most
how
people.
we are
Yes.
as adults. I was on a panel at Wayne State, and there was a lady in the audience. She asked, well, because it was about education, of course, it was at Wayne State. The lady in the audience asked, well, what about people coming out of prison? They have PTSD. And my thing to her was like, so how do we expect them to complete a 4-year college? That's what was the question. My question to her was, how about it was probably PTSD that led them to commit the crime that landed them in prison? How about we start there? Because if they had enough, if they've had enough gumption to commit a horrendous crime that would land them in prison, 17, 20 years. How about it was a reason? It's not what they did, it's about what happened to them. We need to start there.
Trauma affects so many people, and
It's not what happened to you. It's not what's wrong with you. It's what happened to you.
And on that note, you're watching Kicking It with Steve and Stacy live, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
okay, you're gonna be a DJ before all of this is over.
Something.
So let's hear from you.
Well,
Because I just was thrown in here like 3, 2, 1 action.
today the topic was supposed to be, and still is,
Yeah.
anger.
Anger.
And I was thinking in terms of a situation that happened last Thursday. You know, I get a call Wednesday. Matter of fact, after the show, I get a call Wednesday, and my stepson wants to go pick up his daughter. So his license is jacked up. So I said, okay, I'll take you. So I get off work 7 in the morning, go pick him up, and we go to get his daughter. Well, the mother doesn't want to give the daughter up. So we've got a problem. He calls the police. They come to assist him. And it was like the first real time that I saw someone whose anger was just out of control. He hadn't seen his daughter in weeks, maybe a month. And so he's pissed off. And when you're upset, you can't really express yourself. I mean, you're expressing yourself, but not in a way that's going to help the situation. So he's leaning out of the window, you know, and I pulled him back gently. Hey, man, you know, calm down a bit.
He was angry.
These people are here to help,
Right.
you know, and if you piss them off, we both going to be laying down, faces in the snow, you know. And I didn't want to go through that. So second car pulls up. And I'm like, oh, man. You know.
It's all bad.
And one officer goes in, talks to the girlfriend. He comes back out. and he's talking to my stepson. And again, he's going off a little bit, and I'm trying to calm him down. He sees the second car pull up, and he sees the officers. That's the same mother was here. I say, hey,
Oh,
come on, man. Calm down. It took me 2-3 minutes to calm him down. But my point is, anger can destroy you.
Yes.
Because I've been angry. You know, I saw my my dad jump on my mom. I'm like 7, 8 years old. And my little world spiraled out of control. I'm pissed off. And I don't know why.
Right.
You know, you're a kid. You didn't get in counseling.
yeah.
So it took me years to come to terms and grips with my anger. I'm talking about I get pissed off and I'm mad for days. And then it came down to hours and, you know. Now I get mad and I just get quiet for a while and I'm okay. So I still get angry as most folks. But I looked at that situation and I'm like, oh my goodness.
How it was out of control.
I'm beginning to see why a lot of the interactions turn out bad. You know,
Yeah.
everyone who's been listening knows I've been gone for 41 years, Mr. Rumpelstiltskin. But I worked hard to get myself together.
Right.
So I'm home. I got me a little Audi, my first car, Audi, and it likes to go. So I get a couple speeding tickets. But I'm so nice, you know, and I'm like this, hands on the wheel. I don't want anything to happen. If you run the plates, you're going to realize, because some of the stories say I was a hitman. So now the officers are like, oh, so I'm extra nice. How you doing, officer? You know, because I don't want no trouble. And I kid you not, my 3 encounters were all positive. They'd like, man, just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm like, thank you, officer. As I'm pulling off like, woo, one down.
I think that control of anger comes with age. Because when I tell you I used to be a pistol, I'm talking about just 3, 4, 5 years ago. Think about it.
Yeah.
I think it comes with age because I realized it was hurt. It hurts you more than the person you even angry at.
That's right.
Unless
That's right.
you get your hands on them. But if you don't get your hands on them, you the one hurt the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And then after everything calmed down, all the smoke cleared, you looking crazy.
Period.
Yeah.
You can't even explain why you behave that way.
Right.
So I think it's either age or just knocking my head enough times.
No, it's a lot of it is maturity.
It looks so ridiculous, and after in hindsight it's so funny, but when you in it, it's just so the energy's so charged, and if you're not the angry when your heart beating fast, you don't want no part of it.
Yeah.
You don't know how it got here this fast.
I'm looking at the situation as if I'm viewing it remotely. I'm
Or
looking at
something,
myself,
yeah.
and I'm looking at my stepson. I'm saying to myself, whoa, because the officers are relating to us entirely differently. They look in there and they see me and they say, well, who are you, sir? And I'm respectful. I'm a stepdad. Oh, okay. When they see me trying to diffuse and disarm their, thank you for being, you know, a calming factor. And I'm like, there's 25 years difference between the two of us. So as you said, hopefully in the next 25 years, he gets to the point where, you know, you realize I can control this situation
Hopefully it won't take 25
if I'm not pissed
years.
off.
Hopefully it don't take 25 years.
Well, hopefully.
Especially if it's a child watching.
Yeah, it was quite an event.
So how did it end?
Well, it ended. They went in. Yeah, he calmed down. They went in, got the baby, and strapped her in the back, and they looking at me like, take off. So I eased on out of there.
Wait a minute. I got to interrupt right here.
Okay.
Would you tell them what the baby mother said when she came?
Yeah, I guess she was pissed off. You know, they've got a pretty volatile relationship. So when she brings the baby round, she brings it around and puts it in the back seat because the child seat is sitting right behind me, and I hear her tell the officer, "He's a felon." shot me in the back.
Right, threw you right under the bus.
But as I said, I'm sure they already knew because when they pull up behind the car, they running the place.
Oh God.
Why would she do that? Like, what the officers say?
Because she was hateful.
That's that anger.
That's anger.
That's the anger.
And that's what I'm
That's
talking
that.
about. And it's like America right now.
Wait a minute.
It's angry.
What did she say again?
By the way, you know he's a felon.
Like they was gonna say, is he?
Right.
And she can't go.
Oh
Right.
my God.
Yeah.
That's beyond shady.
It's ridiculous.
That's the way of the world.
Yeah.
That's the way people are
These
now.
baby mamas, though.
It's mental illness.
But and then think
It's
about
the
it.
mental illness and the drugs and the alcohol on top of the mental illness.
But think about it. What about these females who have more than one baby daddy? Think about it. 3, 4, 5 kids. 3, 4, 5 daddies.
My experience with my only child father, it was limited in mine to just one.
I mean, but think about it. Think about how many sets of grandparents you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Not really. If the father not there, then.
Yeah, I just, you know what
And you know what? We really should laugh because, like, I'm a real advocate for returning citizens.
Absolutely.
So to be used, I mean, we out here fighting for education, mental health, and then you gonna throw. We taking 5 steps forward, you gonna take 8 back.
Period.
Because what did she expect and then because you could have got angry behind that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm way beyond it, so I just chuckled.
Yeah.
Watched her walk on back up in there, and they gave me the nod to take off, and that's exactly what I did. Put that baby
Did
in
you burn
reverse.
rubber?
No,
Did he
it
calm down
was
when
2
the baby-
cars there. I was like,
Did he calm down when the baby got in the car?
yes, he did. And kudos to the police.
Right, exactly.
They handled that well. I'm talking about, I got that from one of them. I said, what's your name? He said, Hiller. Hiller. I held it out, and he stuck his little fist in there and gave me some dap. Because that's where I'm at. I'm not trying to tussle.
Period.
Like I say, face down, hands behind. No, thank
Especially
you.
with some entity where you can't win.
Exactly. Especially with everything that's going on now with the police and the brutality, but it's sad to say. Sometimes you can understand why they are on 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking
Absolutely.
that. I was gonna
Seriously.
say that.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say that.
It was an eye-opening experience for me.
And for me, I have a friend that's a police.
Hmm
So
I have relatives, who are police, and
I wouldn't want
I
nobody
respect
to
and
treat her
honor.
like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Over something that don't have anything to do with her just because she showed up.
Right. No, they handled themselves very professionally.
Good.
And I was like, wow. So my hat's off to those guys. Kudos. And I'm hoping, and if you're watching, I'm not, speaking bad of you, anything. I'm just telling the story. But I'm hoping that he watched and learned a little something
Definitely.
from the encounter, Because when you lose it, and you lose it to someone who's got more authority than you do, you can't win. There's no way you're going to win in that situation.
So what do you hope? Did you guys talk about it at all?
Yes, we did. And I'm one of those soft-spoken, I'll wait till you ready kind of guys. And so I told him, I said, I've been wanting to talk to you for a minute, but you have to be ready. And so I just laid a couple jewels.
That's perfect.
Here you go, a little something, let it germinate and grow, and later we'll talk about it. But, because it was like the way they treat one person as opposed to another. And they're both in the same room. We in the same car.
In the same car.
And you talking to me as if I'm from a different planet.
Right.
But it's how you conduct yourself.
It's
and how you
come
carry
off.
yourself.
Yeah.
The
It's how
vibes you
I
give.
was just about to say it's how you make the other person feel
Right.
dealing with you.
What they call it, what that vibrational frequency, which one are you on?
Right.
And I'm on peace and love
Right. You
and
up
getting
there.
out of here in one piece.
You up
Period.
Absolutely.
So while we're really having a good conversation, but we need to let you all know that you're watching Kicking It with Steve and Stacy live. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV. It's the coolest station in the world.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in.
Okay.
We need to talk about education for returning citizens. They letting them out. What we gonna do with them? So I'm in mental health again. I'm gonna reiterate that.
Okay.
Reiterate that because experiences that I went through before, during, and after being incarcerated, it just needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be brought to the forefront because it's being talked about here and there and there and here in the mental health, in the behavioral health arena. But we need to bring it out the behavioral health arena. We need to bring it out here where we are.
You mean education?
Education, just mental health. We know how important education is, right? We all know. Well, I'm pretty sure we all have our different views, but overall, we feel like education is important. However, I feel if your mental health isn't healthy, what is education doing except heaping more garbage on the garbage tree heap?
Period. I feel like we really need to buckle down and get this reentry really situated because when you come home, but thank God that I had a support system when I came home.
Yes.
So, my assimilation back into society was fairly easy. But you have some people who don't have anywhere to go to. Do you have some people who, for whatever reason, they burn their bridges and their families won't even let them come home to them? And what they end up doing is paroling to a shelter. And I just think that's one of the saddest things ever. You have a person, especially people who have done long indeterminate sentences. They don't know about the grocery store. They don't even know, how to go and buy a phone and get the phone program.
But see, Stacey, they do because there's a lot of programs out here that's ran by returning citizens, and one of them I know is a double undergraduate. So there is programs out here. There is things happening, but you don't hear nothing about them because the completion rate, a lot of them don't make it through. And if you come out and you put me right in, for me personally, I was a clerk in building trades. I didn't want to come back out and sit in the office or sitting in school. I wanted to still learn, though I still wanted to grow and prosper. Sitting in the classroom wasn't going to get it for me. I had just been sitting down. I didn't want to sit down no more.
Right.
So the trades was perfect for me, but it still didn't work on my mental. I got to tear up some, you know what I'm saying? Because I found myself during my apprenticeship going through mental challenges. And I was being interviewed by newspapers. I was doing this and that. But my mental, none of that mattered. And it still bothers me. Well, I'm not going to say bother it. It affects me today because I still have to be told, stop leaving that out. You made history.
Right.
You did this. But my mental, I'm still, and just recently I had a lot of deaths, so it's just a lot. But I'm still dealing with it mentally.
Oh, I get it.
So I feel like we have all these programs because there's a lot of programs that's going inside, preparing them to come out. But I don't hear a lot about how we're preparing them mentally, how we're addressing these traumas.
You know what? I don't know if they still do it, but when I came home, I had like one of the best parole officers ever.
Yeah.
And, I'm for one, I really believe in therapy. I believe in therapy. And when I came home, one of the first things I did was found a good therapist. And I really enjoyed it,
Right.
So I got a good therapist when I came home, and I saw her weekly, and I also got in a support group. So, yeah.
A lot of people don't have that initiative, though, or they don't even know that the information is available. We got these overworked parole officers now. They don't even have to go in and see them. So they not, a lot of people, they're overworked. They don't have time to go to extra
So what do you
miles.
do?
Well,
That's why we're here.
speaking of therapy, I know I needed it. And just as you did, my PO gave me a sheet of paper one day, and she said, you might want to call and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, and I intended to, but life happens. You out here, you got to eat. So I get a job. I don't really have time to call and talk to these folks. And then I find out that I'm labeled as, I think I told you, completely and permanently disabled because of the 41 years. PTSD and a whole bunch of other shit, I'm sure.
Wow.
But I'm one of those people, I don't really buy into your diagnosis of me.
There you go.
You know, you tell me something's wrong with me, okay. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I've got things to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so let me be about my business. And when I get time or if it presents itself, I'll get that therapy. Because I know people need it. I would love to talk to a professional, you know. But as I said, I haven't really had the time, you know.
And
You have
right
to-
now you can't get in none now.
I just feel like you have to make the time.
Yes.
Because it's really important. I feel like too many of us are out here with undiagnosed mental illnesses. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when I volunteer with the kids, you know, one of the first things that, you know, I ask them is, who in here has a mental illness? And then they're just like, and then I'll say, well, I'll start first.
Yeah.
I have a mental
That's
illness.
right.
I've been
Well,
diagnosed.
there's a stigma.
Exactly.
And
But
that's where I'm in. The first thing we need to do is acknowledge the problem. We won't acknowledge the problem because to say that you want to see a therapist or you even enjoy seeing a therapist that says to like the not so intelligent people that you have a problem. How about you want to see a therapist because everybody who know you don't need to know all your business? How about for personal reasons? Why does it have to be a reason? Because that helps hide that there's a problem.
See-
We have to acknowledge first that there is a problem that needs to be addressed to even attack the stigma of therapy. You see what I mean? We sit around like we just had Thanksgiving and nobody addressed any of the problems. We just talked about it, made jokes about it, and keep pushing.
yeah, well, I'm for one, I'm just very unapologetic about it, and I mean, I feel like we need to normalize mental health issues because I have a mental health issue. I have a diagnosis of severe depression and PTSD. It's not something that I'm proud of, but I'm not ashamed of it, and I embrace it, you know, and I like to talk about it because when you talk about it, that makes other people, you know, feel, well,
Compelled to
you know what I'm
do
saying?
the
Well,
same.
she talking about it. I
Right.
guess, you know, it's not that bad. But I just feel it's really important, you know, that we normalize
Acknowledge it,
mental
yeah.
health issues
And
and acknowledge it.
It's running rampant through
Period.
society today.
Because we won't address it as
Look
what it
at
is.
look at every major massacre that's occurred. One of the things they find quickly is that he or she had issues.
What we need to start saying, what we need to start getting out here, what I got from a master psychologist. He's a double master psychologist and a master social worker. Everybody suffers from depression. Everybody does. So can you imagine the other part of the people that have, because I believe that trauma is in our DNA. We came here with it. But we won't talk about that either. We don't discuss how important DNA is for real. What we came through. How was the pregnancy when you were pregnant?
Right.
That determines. So that means we came with trauma if you come from a drug addict mama.
Right.
It's so complicated. I think we need more than an hour.
Definitely.
I think that we need to address mental illness. I think we need to address mental illness before we can even address stable housing. We're getting our driver's license back. Because you did 40 years in prison. This is a total different time. Somebody need to talk to you. Hey, how you feel about that?
Right.
Right.
That's addressing mental illness. Whether it be your parole officer or a case manager of the program that you're ordered to do reentry. We need to put mental health issues on the forefront because I was at a conference and I'm just not going to be quiet about it because the adverse childhood experiences made me who I am. And everybody not strong like me. Everybody that wasn't in the trenches. They're not built to stay here. They still out there on the corner holding signs and they're veterans.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have benefits available to them. Why would you think that they would do that if it wasn't something mental wrong with them? The veterans can get a house. They'll kick me out of my house I just bought to give it to a veteran. This country will. So
Yeah.
why do we have them standing outside holding signs? It's mental illness.
Yeah.
So our audience, what are you all thinking about tonight's topic? What are you thinking about this discussion? Call in at 313-355-6018 because we would really like to hear your opinion because this is a deep topic and we really need to talk about this.
So I said the word anger, and this is what happened.
Yeah. And that's
Oh,
a
my
mental
goodness.
illness to be out of control. That's rage. That's
Yeah.
It is.
You could black out from certain, you know what I'm saying?
And many people do.
certain behaviors, certain, especially if you used to doing it, then you don't know that it's a problem. And then if you're angry, people are scared to tell you.
Right.
so you can deal with it the best way you can.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's so nice to meet you. We're just
And nice to
grown
meet
in
you
here.
too.
Thank you
And
so
speaking
much for having me. I
speaking of
appreciate
anger, I think I told you that my initial diagnosis was that I needed impulse control, and later it became anger management, or
Right.
you know. And I finally got it. What, 40 years later, 39 years later? Because when you're a lifer, at least in the men's prison, you're not allowed to take certain courses.
Yeah, I
You know, they put you on the bottom of every list,
Yes.
and so you do the best you can. My saving grace was that I studied for the first 5 years psychology books, self-help books, because I wanted to understand what the hell happened to me.
Get here.
You know, how did I get here, and how do I get out? And how do I get out sane? You know, because you're going to be scarred, you're going to have trauma, it's going to be tragedies, but you can get out of here without too much damage being done. You can still be a productive citizen. And I want to applaud you both for all that you've done, for all that you're still doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel some type of way that I don't know who you are.
Well, my name is Stephen.
Okay, I know that you share a name with my son.
That's right. I was born New Year's Eve of 1958,
Okay.
east side of Detroit, to two wonderful parents. I was pronounced dead, which is another reason I don't take the diagnoses too seriously. They pronounced me dead and said I was going to come out limb by limb. You know, one arm, a leg, torso, et cetera, et cetera. And my brother was voted Outstanding Young Man of America. We're writing a book as well because we, same mother, same father, and 5 other siblings. Nobody got caught up in anything except yours truly.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to be the brightest one of the bunch. So,
That's usually how it goes.
yeah. And I kid you not, I talked to a nephew a few days ago, and he said the same thing. He said, everything's so easy. I said, that's your intelligence. But look at me and remember what happens
Yeah.
when you don't apply it, you know, when you don't have discipline.
Yes.
And so now I simply try to help,
Okay.
you know, try to keep kids from going that way. And one of the things I did was came up with a plan to help them when they're released go into an apprenticeship program.
Okay.
Right? It's called MPAP. And if you are a lifer and you're released and you've got 4 years parole, you go into a 4-year apprenticeship program. So that when your parole is up, not only do you have money in the bank, but you've got a journeyman's card. You're skilled enough to go anywhere in the country.
I'm a journeyman. You know, I know how that goes.
Absolutely.
So,
And so
it starts in the prison?
I'm trying to make it mandatory that when you get a parole, you go into an apprenticeship program. If you've got 12 months parole, you take a 1-year apprenticeship program, 2 years, etc. And in this way, guys get to get some of their honor back. You know what I mean? Like you said, most prisoners, most returning citizens have children.
Yeah.
They're looking at you. If you're struggling too much and you've already got issues, have you said it's mental, what are you going to do?
Right.
Probably going to succumb to the pressure and not do all the things you should do or that you want to do because you're overwhelmed. But if you come into an apprenticeship program, you're getting paid
Okay.
top dollar for the most part. You're getting raises like a normal citizen.
Absolutely.
You're learning on the job. When it's up, look at daddy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or mama.
Or mommy.
All
Absolutely.
these men programs, like, have you enacted it anywhere though?
Well, I gave it to, what's the guy who was John Conyers before he went through his little fiasco? I gave it to him. That was the last time that I gave it to a politician.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
I will never give it to.
Well, I was simply trying to get it off the ground,
I
you
mean,
know.
not that politicians are bad people, but you have to give it to somebody with a vested interest.
Mm.
You should have found an organization. You should have called Stacey and told her to call me.
Oh, it's still in the works.
Okay, good, because I was just like, I keep talking about mental health. I was at an ACEs conference, and there's a man there who he does that in the Flint jail.
Okay.
And he's a returning citizen. And we're all right here. We are among you.
Would his name happen to be Janelle
Uh,
or Percy?
Percy.
Yeah,
Percy.
I know Percy.
I want to meet Percy.
Really?
Absolutely, I want to meet Percy.
I'm gonna
When
see.
he was telling who he was, you know how we get up and introduce ourselves, and then he rattled off his number. We were all at different satellite places. Like I
Okay.
was in Troy, other people was in Farmington. You could hear the. I melted. We everywhere. Just the night before, I was at Wayne State talking to a class. And they didn't even know which one. You know, they didn't know that we were returning citizens.
Right.
And so the professor that's a returning citizen, a professor now at Wayne State, he was like, we all in here. We everywhere. And when he said that, in the whole, all 13 of the satellite offices, it was a collective gas. He even had to stop. Because it was like, I
Right.
felt that.
Mm-hmm.
He went, I was like, and I haven't been able to get into, I mean, I didn't try to get in touch with him, but I know I want to be a part of what he's doing.
Right.
Because even if you don't like a trade, like you say, you have to do it while you're on parole, you've got a valuable trade that you can use.
Right.
Even if you decide to go work in the plant.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You could go home and fix your
And
own house up that you bought
It
from.
keeps you out of trouble
That is the
during that stretch.
That is the most important. And not to mention the money, you make 70% of the journeyman wage.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2015, when I started, that was $17.
Right.
We know that's went up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's these making more than an idea. Put it on paper, give it to Stacey. It makes sense.
Oh,
That's awesome.
I drafted it in the whole nine, but yeah, we have to find a way to get it some traction.
Are you connected with any of the returning citizens organizations?
Not really, and that's by choice.
You was reading my mind.
No, that's just the way I've done my time. You know, the way I live my life. I'm kind of not the outsider, but I kind of walk my own little path and do my thing.
Absolutely.
But I agree with you that it's time, and so that's one of the reasons we're here, and that we've got this podcast. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm one to believe that the path less traveled is truly the path. Because everybody say, I'm on a path less traveled, but everybody going that way.
Mm.
So why is that
Right.
Yeah.
It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to
And,
meet you as well.
That's an awesome idea you guys. I'm down for it. I'm a journeywoman, so you know anything trades. What kind of, were you thinking building trades or just any apprenticeship? Because there's many apprenticeship
Yeah, any.
opportunities.
You know, give them a list and let them choose what works for them and their
Yeah.
personalities.
Yeah.
Well,
And we
we're-
have less than a minute left.
Right. We're
Oh,
gonna have
that
to.
was so awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again because you are watching Kicking It with Steve and Stacy live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. So like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And you can catch Steve and Stacy kicking it every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
And I salute you all.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
That was nice.
That was fun. That was so fun. I wasn't even nervous.
See?
That was It's too short.
And think about how many people that we can actually reach and touch.
Because people watch that don't even tell you they watching. They watch because they some haters, and that's why I'm getting hopes. That be my hopes.
See
You
what I'm
just
saying?
watching because you want to find something wrong and mess around and find something what you need.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
And